So it's nearly the end of the year, which means it is time to do the free-to-play tier list for 2022. I have revamped the tier list just a little bit since our last one. I have made so that there's no F tier anymore, only because it was getting a little too small and I wanted less categories instead. So D and F didn't really make too much of a difference. I did still put an L tier, so this is the worst 10 units in the game that I consider for free-to-play. And then, of course, anybody above that is better. And if you guys don't remember, Z tier is the top 10. We are looking for our number 10 spot. So yeah, I moved some characters around. I don't want to go into too much details of who I moved around, but if you want to pause the video to see what I moved around and compare from my last tier list video, feel free to do so. If I remember, I just moved some Super Strike units. Of course, I had to remove some because I deleted the F tier. And just how the meta has been growing. I think most of the Ginyu forces are back to S, and as well as the Bardock squads are back to around S, except for a few. We have a decent amount of free-to-play units to rank, so we're just going to jump straight into it. I don't want to give too much details on each single unit. I'll just tell you guys what rank they are, why I consider them, why they can't go higher, why they can't go lower, etc. So, first on the list is Super Saiyan 3 Goku. He did get skill orbs. He's Fierce Battle. I've used him. The problem is he's a little bit too short for his grace period. So in that case, I do want to give him top A though. I don't think he's S tier, but with the skill orbs, it definitely made him top A. I don't think he's definitely the worst EZA of this year for free-to-play. There are definitely way worse. And so I think A is a pretty good spot for him. If he only lasted a little bit longer for the not guaranteed additional super attack, but yeah, if he like was like 7 turns, 10 turns, I would have maybe considered an S, but 5 turns is a little bit too short. Master Roshi is actually a really good unit. He's definitely the best out of the Barbershop supports. He's not S tier because guard with a medium chance is too low, and his starter turn defense is not that good. He definitely needs to super attack, and he relies on orbs, of course. But he has a lot of teams that he can be fit on, which is pretty nice. So, definitely A tier. The Nappa, he's a good chat at support, but I think he is probably B. Not C. I don't think he's the worst out of the bunch. The worst would be Deborah, which is definitely in the C tier. It's kind of crazy how different they all are, even though they all released at the same time. Just because of how their team builds are. Deborah just doesn't fit in Majin Buu Saga at all, really, for free-to-play. And I guess he fits... I guess he's like a cool support for Majin Vegeta, but there's a lot of like supports for Majin Vegeta anyway instead of Deborah, so yeah, it's kind of weird. Nappa at least supports Chadits, so you gotta give him some credit on that. Krillin is a decent one. He's definitely a low A or a high B. I'll give him a high B. I haven't used him or had the opportunity to use him a lot with these newer teams, but maybe if there's a really good tech unit that comes out that he can support. The only real ones is the guards, which yeah, I haven't used the guards in a while, so I'm going to keep him high B. Definitely there's a difference between the Roshi and the Krillin. And the Great Saiyan Man is an A. A low A. So he has the dodges inbuilt, so at least he has some first slot potential. And then, of course, you know, he's actually one of the only few special pose Defenders of Justice free-to-play AGL units that are decent. So I will give him that. And he supports Gamma 2, which is kind of cool. And he links decently well with Gamma 2. Moving on, now we're on to the Dragon Ball Hero stuff. Great Saiyan Man is a... I'll give him a C. I don't want to give him a low C. A high C is more respectable. Actually, I feel like this Golden Frieza is kind of ass. I'm going to put him down one extra level. Great Saiyan Man, I feel like doesn't gain enough defense. His only worthiness is on an actual pay-to-play team where you can actually link up with Great Saiyan Man 3, because Great Saiyan Man 3 is goated. The problem is, if you want to keep that linking potential, you do have to sacrifice that second slot, obviously, to be Great Saiyaman 4, and that's so risky in itself. He just doesn't gain enough defense per super to warrant him to be any higher, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. But he's a cool support. It's just that he's better in the third slot, but he also sucks in the third slot. Next up, we have Arms. He's our first S tier character for the day. Arms, Big Bad Bosses, Extreme Support, very, very good. Got some decent categories in there, so can't go wrong with him. He gets a decent amount of defense as well. He lowers attack. I think there's nothing really too wrong with Arms other than, of course, asking for higher stats. And then we have Kumba. I'll give Kumba an A, a lowish A. Of course, the investment that you need to give him to be in the first slot is kind of harsh, but it's not as heavy of an investment as Great Saiyaman, and of course, he does do some debuffing and stuff like that. So, Kumba's actually okay. Then we have Demon God Salsa, which is a high A. Spoiler, most of the Dragon Ball heroes can't really reach the S tier just because they're Dragon Ball heroes. But Salsa's not bad. He's got a really good high chance to dodge, which is really nice. And he greatly raises defense, which makes him defensively good. And just a good third slot unit to have overall. So, in a Dragon Ball heroes team, pretty cool. And then we have Poutine, which is definitely the better one of, like, in a Dragon Ball Heroes eccentric team, you definitely want to bring Poutine if you're running an extreme team. The problem is, like, outside of that, she's kind of, like, meh, so she can only stay at A. I feel like S tier, you can, like, almost run them in pretty much anything. And plus, of course, she relies on, like, debuffing and stuff like that. Most of the Dragon Ball Heroes stuff do. So yeah, that is my current rankings right now. Let's keep going. And we'll move on to the Android 17 and Ada. One of the most defensive units in the game for free-to-play with the damage reduction, the guard. They not in S tier. I know. They're really good defensively. And that's all you kind of ask for free-to-play. But the problem is it's really hard to fit them on a team. Joint Forces, although a pretty good team, it's not really linking well with them. Androids is not a high-tier team anymore. And, what other categories do they have? I don't even remember. That's all I remember. Androids and not Bond of Friendship. Joint Forces. They might have one more, but if they do, I don't even remember it, and it's probably irrelevant. So yeah, just the team-wise is not that good. They don't have any top-tier teams, really. And then there's some old cards. You'd be like, why are these old Dragon Ball Saga cards in here? I actually forgot to rank them. I didn't know that I was missing these in the old tier list, so we're just going to rank them now. Tien, you know, DB Saga is actually pretty good, but I'm going to say he's a D. He does raise a lot of defense, but I'm pretty sure it's not, like, going to be a game changer. This Tien, however, the STR one, is actually pretty decent. Even though he's, like, strong for one turn only, he keeps raising defense. He keeps his defense, which is not bad. Right? It's not terrible. I would say, like, a low B. You know, maybe I'm disrespecting Great Saiyaman a little bit too much. I'll put him a low B. And then Arnin is, I don't really know, really. Just like a C. I mean, she's a cool support. She can't really be anywhere other than, like, giant form. Realm of Gods, why would you put her in the Realm of Gods team? It's kind of just a weird character. I would say just like a low, I wouldn't say low, I'd say like middle C. She's not like terrible, but like, she's not like good either. She's just there. Yeah, maybe they'll change. Because I've only used it in giant form. So, now Deborah Angel. Very awkward card, but he actually gets some good numbers. He can go low B. He can definitely go low B. I'm just waiting for, like, a really good team with him. And then Pycon is probably the worst Super Strike unit in the game. So bad that I think he's just a high C. No raised defense. He's just a Super Battle Road character at the end of the day, but with a bad defensive stat and just mediocre attack. It's just because he's Pycon, honestly. Yeah, he's just really weird, so not too exciting. I was very disappointed when I first used him. And, oh, I missed out on one of the Dragon Ball Heroes characters. Lags. Lags is just a really, really awkward unit. She can be cool, which is why I probably put her in C. Just because she has potential still. She can still be in C. I don't think she's very restrictive. Very restrictive. Next up, we only have 6 more units left to check out. We have Jackie Chan. Ella Jackie Chan, the new World Tournament reward card. He is going to be our first Z tier in a while. Yeah, I think he's actually really, really good. Inbuilt damage reduction when he gets the 18 key. It's pretty easy to get his 18 key as well. I would say he's the bottom, though, only because he doesn't support that many good players or characters. That's a huge issue. There's no other good World Tournament characters. So, he's supporting nobody. That's the... Until that there's like a Dokkan Fest World Tournament character that's like broken, he can climb up the ranks slowly, but just for now, he's like at the bottom. I do agree on Goku and Gohan with the new buff to being in the 6th spot. Maybe Gohan's a little bit better just because he has value in the 1st slot and 3rd slot as well in 2nd slot. While these guys, it's pretty hard to keep them in the 1st and 2nd slot. So they're just like a 3rd slot unit. So I value the Gohan over the Goku and Gohan and all of these characters above. I still think Vegeta Blue is still the best free-to-play LR. Gotenks. So he got an awakening with the World Tournament as well. I've used him. He actually has a very terrible defense stat. It's like 7,000, which is, or 6,000. It's actually really low at 100%. And that means he actually cannot stack as well. He was bad at stacking in the SSR form. I thought he would actually get enough attack and defense when he awakened, but it wasn't enough. It was not enough, which honestly could keep him at D. He supports Fusion and Youth, and free-to-play Fusion is not that good. Youth, it can be okay, but there's no chance he's getting over 100,000 defense quick enough. So it's actually just a terrible card. Really, really, it's so weirdly bad, actually. Very disappointed. He does get inbuilt additionals. It's just not doing anything. And you need to invest in, like, green orbs to getting him. He's a cool orb changer. That's about it. Then Hachiag, a new LR. If there was a lot of Ultimate Red Zones where you're versing Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans, obviously Broly's like the only one. He would be like Z tier. But he's just there. He's a good Broly. You can bring him in Broly Red Zone and then that's pretty much it. And Kumba. So, but it's cool. 50% damage reduction potentially on outside of Red Zone and the Raise Attack Defense. I wish Giant Forms were actually a little bit better. But yeah, he's an S tier. S tier for sure. Big bad bosses. He still needs a good linking partner. There's no real good linking partners with him. The Trunks and the Goten, surprisingly pretty good. I would give Trunks an A, high A. Maybe I'm a little too... Yeah, I think I'm grading these fairly well, hopefully. But Trunks gets a decent amount of defense. He gets a good amount of attack at the start of the turn. Gotenks is a little bit of an issue, however. There is definitely a gap. I don't know if if it's a gap and big enough for a B and A. But there is definitely a gap. Maybe I'll keep it like this for now. It's just that Gotenks just doesn't gain any defense anymore. And then his nuking capabilities is not that good to begin with. So he's just there to make sure that Trunks excels, essentially. That's pretty much what he's there for. And then our final unit, which came out recently, is the Super Strike TN. Used him quite a bit. I hate that he's, like, of course, like, limited to versing stunned enemies, which lose that 30%. He's not the worst. I think he's better than the Kid Vegeta and the Mighty Mask, which are pretty bad units. He gets a decent amount of defense, but at the end of the day, he's just an ESBR, SBR unit, a really good one, though. So, I would say he's either low A or a high B. I'm going to give him low A just because it fits perfectly. Like, there's actually a spot for him right here. So he can be low A. He's not anybody crazy. He's just there. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for the tier list for 2022. Next tier list I will do is the end of JP's first anniversary. So, just like 2 months. Hopefully, we get some groundbreaking free-to-play units. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell on so you don't miss out on the daily content. Check out my social medias linked in the description. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay busy. Peace out.